What's up, Exeters? So today we've exited off here in Santa Cruz,
Or is it Santa Carla?
California. So we're here to show you some movie locations, bring you some shots of the world famous, the incredible Lost Boys.
So we've been accompanied by our Lost Boys guru today, fully wearing the attire and everything. She's probably seen the movie more than I have because I introduced her to the Lost Boys probably last year, wasn't it?
She's seen it like one and a half times.
Be for real. I used to watch that movie like 3 times every day.
So she's probably more knowledgeable about this movie than either one of us, or probably both of us put together.
No, I don't know about all that.
You've seen it the least out of everybody.
That's not true. Well, that probably is true, but I mean, I still like the movie. It's a good movie.
So tell them who your favorite, who is your favorite character?
The grandpa.
Probably the Frog Brothers, both of them.
Good choice, good choice.
All right, guys. Here's the carousel. Opening shot. One of the openings. After the security guard has broken up the little fight that David and his guys are trying to get into, we see the boardwalk shutting down, and as it's getting dark, you can see a clear shot of Giant Dipper. In the shot, obviously Santa Cruz is not above the Giant Dipper sign, but the camera was a little further back. We know we're in the right spot because in the shot, this roll-up door was down. It was orange instead of silver. But the biggest difference comes from right over here at the Dipper Burgers. This sign in the movie actually says Captain's Galley, and it's even a little blue overhang awning up under here that would have been over this right here that is now taken down. Just after we see the Giant Dipper sign, the lights go out, and this is your shot just before the security guys killed. So this building here has actually been redone. It's been remodeled. This haunted castle is new, and along with many of these other things down through here. But now we know we're in the right spot. It's dark. You're not going to see the skyline thing here, but what you can see is this skyline pole with the stairs. You can see a little bit of this roof and just a little touch of this roof right here next to me. And you can also see this gondola pole in the distance because it's still lit up just before the Giant Dipper sign. Also, these street lights. Now, in my shot, it has 2 banners. The movie, there's only one, but you can see them, and they're right at the edge of the beach. There's several of them still lit up. This is probably the path the security guard would have taken to his car.
Whew, guys, I just had a horrible night. I done broke up some heathens on that merry-go-round. I just want to go eat me. Oh, yeah. I just want to go eat me some pot roast and watch Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Because he would have probably exited from right there, come down this little path in the direction that we're walking now. Unbeknownst to him that he would soon meet his demise at the hands of David and what's the other one's name?
There's four.
Okay,
David,
I already said that.
Dwayne, Paul, and Marco.
David, Dwayne, Paul, and Marco. Are you sure? Okay. Gonna have people check it and leave comments. Y'all let us know if AJ was right or wrong. All right. So we're continuing on. The security guard would have walked probably somewhere through here. This is not where his car is going to be all the way over in this lot. Now we have an aerial shot roughly where this silver car is. Looks like a yellow Volkswagen Beetle that's drives off as we're David and the guys flying over. Say aerial shot. These palm trees are much smaller because you know that was decades ago. But what you can see is from the aerial shot this little parking lot here with the light pole, and then we have the big parking lot. So here's our big parking lot. If you guys can tell, this would have been a parking lot actually used for the amusement park back then because it still has a lot number on the pole. It also still has banners up. And you even got one way down there that's got a 4 for Section 4, Section 3, Section 2. So he would have been parked close to the back. You can also see in the shot of the film, if you look, there's an embankment, which is the same embankment from back there. So he would have walked straight down through here, aerial shot. As we zoom in, he sees something frightening. He runs towards his car.
Oh no, I just want to eat my pot roast.
He makes it to his car, but unfortunately, Mr. Security Guard does not make it home. He becomes somebody else's pot roast. But in the shot, it would have been parked, you know, kind of further in the back because it's a long shot, aerial shot of the parking lot. For this scene, we see the camera flying over the water right here behind my shoulder. As it comes in, because it is a huge aerial shot, probably from a helicopter, it circles over these trees behind me. And as it circles these trees, we get a front view of this lighthouse. So we know this is the right place. And as the shot circles back around, it's looking down at the road because we see the SUV that Michael and his family is in slow roll right around this curve, right about where this Bronco's going. Only they're not going that fast. And we circle around, and then the camera pulls into a tight shot on the front of the SUV with the camera looking through the windshield because they're going to start talking.
Keep going.
Hey, I like that song.
Keep it going, Mom.
Oh, how about this?
I don't see any boogeymen or nasty guys.
Pretty cool, Mommy.
Our next shot, after we've seen them around the curve, they get right here where these rocks are. Now, we obviously cannot get this exact same shot because, one, they were in a helicopter out over the water. So we have to give you just a little angle. But we see the rocks as it pans up over here where these cars are. All of that was dirt. Like it was like a dirt parking lot where now it's paved and you can park there until sunset. There's also a good place to eat. Got good food. with some restrooms. But during the movie, all of that was just dirt, wide open dirt spot. You see like a couple little cars that are actually parked there. One thing that has changed since the movie, you can see these steps over here. In the movie, they were right here, just on the other side of this little cliff. They would have came straight down to the rocks. They have since been moved, and the guard railing is now metal, whereas back then it was more like wood. It was a wooden fence kind of going across here. The steps have now been moved to the other side with metal railing put up, plus in a little area over here they put more kind of guard railing up, so you can actually walk out a little closer to the cliffs and get some nice shots.
Oh, mommy, you want to switch the dial?
This jams.
Quite hit.
Gosh, you've got.
We got 4 people out there trying to catch some good waves.
Oh, he got one.
Oh, we got one over there. Oh, he almost took out that dude.
And he's down. Notice how all of them had.
I feel like I could do that because I'm basically like Shaun White on a snowboard, and I think I could take up surfing pretty easy.
So now you're saying you're the female Kelly Slater?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even though I've never done it, I feel like I could just do it. Honestly, though, all joking aside, I could not do this because I'd be too scared of everything eating me in the water.
I don't think there's anything out there where they are that is going to eat you.
Ooh, that was a good one.
So, so here's a closer shot of the rocks. In the movie, you can actually, when the shot's panning around over top this big rock right here in front of you, you can actually see this big rock in the shot along with the bank of rocks up against the road. You see this thing right here, this is actually the old steps, the old wooden steps that are you can see in the movie coming up from the cliffs. And if we pan over to the left, right here, you can actually see where it would have connected to the road. So they would have came up right here, ran straight down and onto the rocks. After the families come around the curve and they've had their little talk, sing-along session, the camera kind of pans out the window, and just over my shoulder you see this statue. This is where we would have got our first shot of the Santa Carla sign. And in the background, I mean, you might not can see it with our camera because it's a wide angle, but we also get a little glimpse of the boardwalk with some of the shops and the roller coaster. Obviously, this is not a sign anymore. Obviously, the sign is not here and has been replaced with this nice surfer statue. And somebody was even nice enough to climb up there and put a cap on his head, you know, so it doesn't burn his bald head. Anyway, so we're talking about where the sign was at. Michael looks out, the camera gets it. He sees he's now arrived in his new location where he's gonna live. The mom drives on through, and as we drive by the sign, Michael turns and looks over his shoulder at the back side of the sign, which would have been here, and he reads the sentence, "Murder capital of the world." Ladies and gentlemen, this is that particular moment in time where Michael begins to question his life choices. Maybe he shouldn't have came with his family to live with his grandfather. Maybe he should have taken his chances at his old living location on his own. Maybe living out on the streets, maybe with a friend, but he knows one thing is for certain. He would not have been living in the murder capital of the world. Bad life choices, Michael. Bad life choices. Shame on you.
Hey, we're almost there.
What was that smell?
Ah, that's the ocean air.
It smells like someone died.
Aw. Honey, look, guys, I know the last year hasn't been easy, but I think you're really gonna like living in Santa Carla.
This is a shot from the opening sequence when you have People Are Strange by the Doors being played. Camera is up a little higher, the mural is different, but right where this pole is sticking out, there was a whale snout. And there's some people walking under it. We get a shot of this stop sign, and this building over here is actually being constructed. So they're walking about where Renee's at. Now, the whale snout was taken down for safety reasons or whatever. And this is Dave's Market. And let me get you a shot of what the mural actually looks like now. You said Dave's has been open for how long?
Since the 1920s.
Since the 20s, a long time.
So, I mean, it is pretty cool that even though the snout of the whale isn't poking out anymore, they made the mural with a whale.
Yeah, that's a beautiful mural.
So this is the view you get when you're almost up to the location of Grandpa's house. You do have to park your car and unfortunately walk your way up a pretty steep hill, as you can see. You got multiple trails going through the woods, or you can take the paved path that we're taking, and it's obvious why you have to walk it because there's pretty beat up little road, lots of holes in it. So definitely be careful if you ever make your way here.
So our next stop is here outside of Grandpa's house. Now this was used for the exterior shots of the house. This is the old historic, I hope I'm saying this right, Pognip Club house. In the film, Michael and them would pulled kind of up in there. You would have seen it from that angle. But what's different now is, in the movie, the front porch was closed in. There's three windows with the trim painted red right here, directly underneath the little balcony area. So this is no longer closed in. Obviously we can't tell where the rest of the windows are because the entire side of this building, except for right there, is all boarded up. Even those windows up there, they just left this glass unboarded on the outside, but boarded it up on the inside. I'm going to take you around to the garage. You know the shot I'm talking about where he's like, I'm going to take the car. I don't know the quote word for word, but he's like, yeah, we're going to go to town. And they get in the nice car. He cranks it up, revs it up, and he's like, all right, let's go to town. I thought we were taking the car. No, we ain't taking this car.
Okay, let's go to town. Well, we having fun or what?
So we were going to town.
That's as close to town as I like to get.
And then later on, you see them, you know, they got to go try to kill the vampires and save Star. They get in the nice car, drive off. Like, Grandpa, we're taking your car. We'll bring it back. And they drive off. Well, here's the garage. It's seen better days.
Hey, Grandpa! Is it okay if we borrow your car?
You see a little door right there. Then if we come around on this side, there's your front door. Now, the question is, do they have a door for that a car would have drove up in? No, it does not. So, as you can tell, it's just a window on this side. So had they had used this for a quote-unquote garage for the movie, it definitely would have had to been modified. Now, it looks more like this was a bathhouse, like a restroom, because if you look right in there, it looks like an old shower or toilet area. My guess is if they used this, it was either modified or it was just a different shot altogether, and they did not use this for the garage for the car. Because it looks really old and it doesn't look like it has been modified for the making of Lost Boys.
Don't this kind of look like some of the original fence?
It does. So you see the fence line right here. Does look like the exact same fence that was in front of Grandpa's house. I'm guessing this used to be a tennis court for the clubhouse back in its heyday. So here's the back of Grandpa's house. Definitely seen some better days. You know, I gotta say though, if I had the money to spend and blow, this would be a really nice place to fix up and live at. You have a good view, really nice house. I bet it looked good back whenever it was the clubhouse. All right, so Santa Cruz Bay Company is what it is now. For Lost Boys, it was Max's video store. So we see the mom walks in. She would have walked in right there to ask Max for a job. And also that's where Sam would have entered on his bike to tell his mom, yo, we overrun with vampires in this town. Now we know this is the right spot because when he exits in the shot, now we're using a wide angle, so we see more than what they did. But in the shot, when he's like, guys, we're on our own, and Corey Feldman's like, that's just how we like it. We can see this pole for this crane in the background. There's yellow stuff in the middle, but we see this pole. We see a brown light pole. Can't see the top of it because it's zoomed in. But we also see this white fence with a white crane. Obviously not this one because it's new, but we do see a white crane. Fence, brown light pole. Obviously it's white now and newer. But the main take is the white fence and this brown crane arm. Alright, so we get a shot. She's walking down the boardwalk. We see the cranes over her shoulder. So she would have walked right through here. She kind of stops, looks over here, sees a woman hanging up a thing right about where AJ's standing. The woman kind of looks at her. When she does, she kind of turns her head back like this. But she keeps walking. She then kind of makes a subtle turn this way, back in the, almost like in the back in the direction she was just coming, but on this side of the boardwalk. She then turns, would have seen the help wanted sign in the door. That's when she hears the little kid cry. She runs up to the little kid, which would have been on up here, because there's a flower thing that's obviously not here anymore. And then, you know, I think this little guy lost his mom. She goes into the shop. The mom's like, oh, there you are. Takes the little kid. She walks on in and proceeds to ask Max if she can have the job that for the help wanted sign that she's seen. So when she comes in to get a job at Max's video store, all of this wall would have been full of movies.
How may I help you this evening? We have it all. The best selection of videotapes in Santa Carla.
No, actually, I'm not looking for a tape. What I need is
A job?
a job. Yeah, I look that needy, huh?
She's also standing about this location when Sam comes in to tell her that the town is overcrawling with vampires. In the shot, we also see Sam pass by these windows to ride his bike into the movie shop.
Mom!
But I know this is... Sam, what are you doing with the fire truck?
Mom, listen, I gotta tell you something. It's real important. Shh. Santa Carla's crawling with vampires, Mom.
Excuse me.
Mom, I'm serious.
So our next stop is here at 1020 Cedar Street in Santa Cruz. It is the current location of the comic book store in the Lost Boys. Now, this is not the original location. The original location was damaged beyond repair due to the 1989 earthquake that took place. So it relocated here. But there are rumors that the comic book used in the movie is actually in here behind the counter. So we're going to try to see if they'll let us get a shot of it.
I don't like horror comics.
So there it is. The original Vampires Everywhere comic. And right next to it, autograph, picture of Sam and the Frog Brothers. You can see they have more on the bottom. That's freaking sweet. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty awesome.
Hello, I'm Bambi from Atlantis Fantasy World here in Santa Cruz, California, the home of the Lost Boys. And right here I've got with me our Vampires Everywhere replica. This is a replica of the prop that they used in the movie The Lost Boys. It was a comic book that was featured in the movie, and we have replicated the original pages that you see in the movie, about 4 or so pages of vampire art. And then the rest of our replica is some stories from our owner Joe, some of his favorite tales to tell from filming. And here, we always like to show off. This is what he looks like back during filming. And then now we flash forward, and he looks a little more like Grandpa from the movie. But that is our Vampires Everywhere replica. Wow. Even replicated the back.
They've made 2 sequels. Don't bother wasting your time watching 2 and 3. They're terrible. The script for what was supposed to be the sequel was turned into this graphic novel.
Okay.
They released it as 6 issues of a comic, and then they collected it into this book. The comics are out of print, and we were lucky enough to find somebody who had some of these left as a graphic novel. So what happens is Sam actually goes to work in the comic store with the Frog Brothers. So even though the building has been taken down because of the earthquake,
right,
it lives on here.
Nice.
And the writer of this comic series is named Tim Seeley, who lives in Chicago. And 7 years ago, for our 40th anniversary, we flew him and his wife out here. And at the time, there were only the first 2 issues of the comic were in print.
Right.
And he signed a bunch of them for people. Then he flew home and he finished writing the series. And in the last issue, he had the vampires kill me off. So there I am.
So you can't go any further.
Well, that's it. But he made me a veteran of World War I, which is, my father was World War II. So the timing was a little off. But even so, I got killed off in the comic. Yay.
That's awesome.
So that's what this book is. So if anybody ever sees this, they'll know this was what was supposed to be the sequel.
This is 707 Pacific Avenue. This is where the comic book store in the movie actually existed. Now, obviously, it's not here anymore. It was damaged beyond repair in the 1989 earthquake, and it relocated. So we were just at the comic book store talking to Joe, the owner, who's also in the movie playing pinball.
Did you see that?
And he was saying that in the movie, when Sam comes in to ask for, the Batman comic, the original line, that comic and issue did not exist. And Joe told the guys, he's like, hey, if you want to make this accurate, if you don't want any flag, you need to change that. This comic don't exist. So they had to get on the phone. It took them an hour because back then they didn't have cell phones, just had landlines. And they actually had to call the writers in New York and ask them if it was okay to, change the line. Of course, they said yes, and they changed it to the comic and the Batman comic issue that's made it into the movie. I think it was number 14 or something.
I'm looking for a Batman number 14.
That's a very serious book, man. Only 5 in existence.
4, actually. I'm always looking out for the other 3.
So that's pretty cool. Like Joe, the owner of the comic store, kind of, helped them out. Made them where they wouldn't catch a lot of flack from comic book enthusiasts over an issue not existing, especially back then. But like I said, this is where the comic book store used to stand. Now in the movie, to block the street, which as you can tell is right over my shoulder, to block that from the shot so that you couldn't see it, so that it looked like it was on the boardwalk when really it wasn't on the boardwalk. It was here at 707 Pacific Avenue. They built a facade in front of it so it would block the street and make it look like the comic book store was actually on the boardwalk with everything else, like the restaurant and Max's video store. After they leave the concert, Michael is following Star. We see Star walk right up under this thing, and above it says Santa Carla Boardwalk. Now we know this is the right area because as she walks right over here. You can see this beam. The top's changed a little bit, but you see this column is there. Now this bush is not here, and neither is this first guardrail. But this fence right here is where David and the guys are parked their motorcycles here. You can see the carousel through the window over his shoulder. Now what's changed is this building that the carousel is in, this wall was not there back then. There was actually glass in the movie because you can see the carousel through the windows, and then as they drive off, you can see it again here. The fence on this side, however, has been taken down. This is also different. Well, it's still there. Just the trees wasn't there, and this area here wasn't, because Michael and Sam would have stand here when it panned to them looking at Star. You can see this fence in the background, and Sam's like, come on, she stiffed you. And that's when we see from the other side them drive away.
Come on, she stiffed you.
Walk goes Hollywood. So here are just a few of the things that's actually been shot here. Obviously what we're here for, Lost Boys. You do have Clint Eastwood movie, Sudden Impact in 1983. Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, 1948.
So I like how one of the snacks here that you can still get is the garlic fries. And these fries literally have like chunks of garlic on them. So I feel like if I were to run across a vampire right now, all I have to do is breathe on them. And I would be okay.
Yeah.
Because my breath is kicking garlic style.
So this is the shot from the car. You know, there's a car parked here. Guy and a girl. Guy's trying to make a move. The girl's reading a magazine. She hears some growling. It's like, man, I heard something. And the top gets ripped off the car. They both die. They become midnight snack. But when the camera's shooting this way, behind the car, the very first scene before that happens, you can see the boardwalk in the background. You can see the roller coaster lit up, all the lights.
I thought I heard something.
Forget it.
This is our next shot after they give Sam the comic book. Now what has changed is the fact that this building's here now. But in the shot, and it's a little further back, but I can't get there because it's closed, this section behind me. But you get a shot kind of like this, where you can see this side, and you can see the hump going over everything, but this building is not there. And what's in place of these tables right here is like a scrambler type ride. It's kind of going all out through here. It's lit up. It's a dark scene. We got that cut next to a water squirt game. Now it's a different angle where the water is going that way. On this next shot, obviously they're doing construction, so I'm trying not to get near the loud noise. But we see Michael walking right down through here. There's like an ear piercing place and stuff. And he's going to stop right about where this ladder is. And the camera is going to pan over. And over here, he's standing here. You can see the hot dog place. There's nothing here. I think it's just white. But he's standing right here kind of looking back. Star comes up behind him, says something to him.
Excuse me.
All right, it won't hurt. It won't.
It's a ripoff.
She turns and walks off. Of course, Michael follows. And as he's walking in this direction, what you get is a shot of, and it's lit up at night, this end of the roller coaster, this little kind of turn and bend is in the shot.
Hi.
If you want your hair pierced, I'll do it.
What's your name?
Star.
So here, this is the shot of when David's trying to coax Michael into following them. And he's like, I can't beat you. And David tells Michael, you don't have to beat me, Michael. You just got to keep up.
You know where Hudson's Bluff is overlooking the point? I can't beat your bike. You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
The next shot would have been further down this way. And as the camera pans back, you see David pull out on his bike. There's another bike here, a bike here, a bike here, and a bike here. So they would have driven straight down this way. Just a little short drive, and they would have turned right here and went down those steps. Now, naturally, the shot would have taken place from this way. You would see them pull out. You see several bikes. As soon as you see David pull out, the camera then turns to this angle, and we would have seen David and the rest of the guys come right between these pillars. Zoomed here. The camera backs up
There are some more
as I'm
stairs.
getting sand in my shoes. And they would have jumped these steps and went off in that direction. So we know that the boardwalk is way down there. Now we know in the shot the guys come off the boardwalk and they go in that direction because they're speeding by. You can see the Giant Dipper roller coaster in the shot, and they're traveling, but they also go past some of these lifeguard towers, and you see a lifeguard tower in the shot right before they go under the pier. Now there is no way they got to this pier going in the opposite direction. So I think the shot came, the first shot you see them going in, but then when the camera is facing them, they're coming towards the camera. This bar is in the background, meaning they came under it first, going back in this direction, back that way towards the boardwalk. So I'm sure they turned out, meaning they're supposed to be going that way towards the cliffs and the cave and the railroad track. But they had, it had to be multiple shots just pieced together. You know, they're not, it's Hollywood, they're not going to do everything in one take. So you're going to have multiple takes of different angles of them riding their bikes, different angles going under the boardwalk. So my guess is they had them start from over here for this shot, come through it in this direction, versus going back in that direction after do the shot over. So for our next location, we're here in Santa Clarita, I hope that's how you say it, at the Iron Horse Trailhead. This is the location of the bridge. So in this shot, Michael has just got through drinking the blood. The blood that Michael thinks is the wine. The guys have taken him to the bridge and they're about to blow Michael's mind. So this is just a short walk from the parking lot to get to the bridge. In case you're ever in Santa Clarita, I think that's how you say it. In case you're ever in that area, it's just down the road from Six Flags. So that kind of gives you another landmark to go off of. Alright, so here's the bridge. The guys would have been walking down the bridge before the train comes. Then they just kind of jump through the boards. Michael thinks that they have lost their mind.
Michael wants to know what's going on. Marco, what's going on?
I don't know. What's going on, Paul? Wait a minute. Who wants to know? Michael wants to know.
Alright, so here's a shot underneath the bridge. The train would have actually been coming left to right in this direction. The guys would have been dangling somewhere right around here, between these two. Now, we do know that they shot part of the scene here, but they also, I believe, reconstructed this in a sound studio to actually have them dangling. So all the guys are hanging here. Michael's finally jumped down. He's hanging on. The train's coming.
Welcome aboard, Michael.
Fun, man.
How do you like it?
He's still freaking out as the train's crossing, lights are flashing, things rumbling. One by one, each of the guys let go till Michael is just kind of dangling there by himself.
Michael, you're one of us! Let go!
At which point he loses his grip, he can't hold on anymore, and he starts falling. And then it kind of seems like for a split second, he's floating. So yeah, I know in the movie they're holding on to like a round little piece of metal. Like a small train going by. There's none of those under here. The only thing that's under here you can see, not these big beams, but right there we go. Now you can see them. These little kind of braces right here underneath the big ones that are close to the track. That's the only thing here that if the boards were missing that you could grab a hold of, but that's definitely not it from the shot, because in the shot it's a round little piece of metal. So here's the sign for the restaurant in the movie. Now it is not Olita's Cantina and Grill, although the restaurant in the movie is upstairs just like this one is, but it is actually named something else, and you can barely see it on the host table where Lucy is using the phone. It looks like the word cloud, something cloud. This is the scene after Lucy has decided to call home to check on Michael and Sam, see how they're doing. She's up front at the maitre d' hostess table on the phone, and they're freaking out. And she's like, I'm on my way. She throws the phone back at him and she runs out the door. Well, here, and the table for the shot, our table is this way. The table for the shot is actually long ways. And Max is sitting with his back against the window. You can actually see the boardwalk and the roller coaster lit up behind him in the background. So his back's to the table. It's the same windows, it's just they're an aqua color, and in the movie they're gray. But that's whenever he actually turns and kind of looks out the window and sees Lucy running across her car. And I believe he is more at these tables over here, only because of how close the shot is to that reddish orange wall, orangish browns wall. When it does a close-up of Max, you can barely see it, kind of blurry in the background. So I believe he's more over there to be able to turn like this and see Lucy running across the parking lot, because the entrance is over here. So she had to have been parked, you know, somewhere right through here. This is where Lucy would have been using the phone, and you can see a different name a little bit right here. They still have the exact same phone. The host or maitre d' would have been standing here. She's like, I'm coming. Oh. And she throws the phone back down. She goes out the door, and we see her go that way. And she's off to try to save Sam from something she thinks is terrible.
Sam, is everything all right?
Mom, I think we have to have a real long talk about something.
Oh my God!
Sam! He's gonna kill me!
Honey, I'm coming! Tell him I'm coming!
No, Mom!
And here's a shot of the parking lot that Lucy would have been parked in, to where she would have actually come down these steps and would have exited right about where the sign is, raced across to get into her SUV somewhere over here. We're here in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, right on the water that you can see behind me. Now the reason we're here is because this is the cave, man. This is the shot. This is them driving down the road, getting to the freaking lair, manning up, gearing up. They're going in to slay some vampires, and they're going to rescue Star and Laddie, okay? So, behind me is the road, right? This is the road Sam's done taking his grandpa's car without permission, right? They're going. And he's headed down this road that's behind me. And if I turn the camera around, so he would have pulled up right there, just like this. And right here would have been the entrance, the staircase to the vampire lair. So we're going to get a little closer so you guys can see it. Now, in the shot, even though this railing wasn't here, this railing wasn't here, this bush wasn't here, this bush was. But it was just a lot shorter. And when they pull the car like this so they can speed back out after they ended their mission, this area is open. It's a little bush, it's open, it's a mound with stairs. So you can see that opening still here. So we're going to walk down a little closer. Now you got to imagine, you've seen the movie, you know this railing's not here, this fence. But the shot lines up, man. There, here's your opening. Now imagine here, there was no drainage ditch. All this was flat, but right here would have been your mound of dirt with your wooden staircase that came right here. Because when they pull the car around, they want to get back out of here, right? So, right behind the car, Frog Brothers would have got geared up. He tells Michael, hey, if you try to stop us or vamp out in any way, I got no problem staking you.
Listen, just so you know, if you try to stop us or vamp out in any way, then I'll stake you without even thinking twice about it.
Chill out, Edgar.
Yeah, come on.
That would have been right here where this tree's at. And the staircase going down to the cave below us. Now we're going to try to go down to the beach and see if we can get up on the rocks to get a shot at the cave. There's nothing on the outside like in the movie. Like there's no, you know, metal and stuff like that. It's just an opening cave. All that was put there by the film company, production company. All right, made it. As you can see, water and beach behind me. Made it to the caves, guys. Told you I wasn't gonna let you down this time. So, that's where we were earlier. It's where they would have pulled the car around, went up the steps onto the mound, and it would have been stairs coming down. There's the lair, right there. So as you can see, right where that water stops, it's about as far in as you can go. Now you used to go much further than this back in the day, but now they've kind of, you know, filled some of the cave in. You can't go up in there. And you can only get to this when the tide is low. So you can see the water goes all the way up. You can go a little bit past that, like just a little bit. You can see some rocks and stuff in there. That's about as far as you're going to be able to go. But as you can tell, without taking a unnecessary swim and putting myself and the camera in danger, tide's just a little bit too high to get down there in the cave. So you can imagine the guys flying in, flying right through here, and going into their pretty cool, pretty sweet little lair, only to go even further in and hang upside down to sleep. And then, boy, them some ugly toes up in that movie, wasn't it? Them toes, woo! That's about as far in the cave as you can get. Woo. Almost got me. So part of the movie, towards the end, the vampires are trying to attack. Michael would have ran out of the house here. This fence wouldn't have been there. Straight to roughly right about where that fence is, because the nook is tied up out there. You know, you can't leave the dog to get eaten by vampires. So the camera would have went over the trees as the vampires chased them back into the house.
Hurry up, man!
Well, that's a wrap for us, all things Lost Boys. This was a cool, top-notch, like, filming, okay?
Once in a lifetime, if you're a fan of the movie and want to take a random Lost Boys vacation, do it.
Yeah.
It is a lot of driving, though, because the sites are kind of stretched out from below Los Angeles to, 5 or 6 hours north?
To Santa Cruz. So if it was me and I was going to do it based off of our recommendation, I would start at the cave, because that's the lowest part in California, just kind of southwest of Long Beach. Then I would work my way up to the bridge, and then from there on up to Santa Cruz, because the bulk of it is in Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely start down here and work my way up versus working back down.
And just be forewarned, getting these locations, 2 of which are going to require some exercise.
Yeah.
So
getting to Grandpa's house and getting to the vampire cave entrance, and up on top where the entrance to the cave used to be in the movie, you know, where they go up and go down in the hole, that's going to require a little bit of walking. But definitely do Santa Cruz last, because you can spend a lot of time in Santa Cruz doing
it's
stuff.
just so nice there anyway.
It's beautiful. So, well, as my phone's going off, that's our cue. It's time to get out of here. We'll catch you guys down the road at the next exit.
Keep it spooky.
Later.